Hello and welcome to Fifi Banson TV. Here, definitely we talk about a lot of things, including sports, politics, social matters, and all of that. We're live on YouTube. If you want to check it out, all you have to do is to go to YouTube and just look for Fifi Banson TV. When you find us, subscribe. Look on the right side of your screen and that subscribe. Press on the subscription button and subscribe. And you can get all the notification bells also ringing for you as soon as we put any new video up there for you. You can also find us on TikTok, on Instagram, and everywhere as we begin a conversation on elections and politics. Today, I'm going to speak to somebody who's been in there for over 40 years of his life as a media practitioner, and he's specialized in polls, election polls. Yes, hate him, loathe him, love him. His name is Ben Ephson. Uncle Ben is in my studio today. Uncle Ben, thank you for joining me today, and good to see you. And it's the first time you are here.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm pleased with the setup. I like the quality setup. I was watching your team.
Thank you.
You've infused your discipline in them.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben, you are known for one thing, mainly polls, elections. You've had your bashing at some point.
Yes.
You've had the right ones at a lot of points, which outweigh the negatives. But let's begin to look at the NDC is going to the polls on Saturday, 13th of May. We'll zoom into the various constituencies and see the challenges in the constituencies and who is likely to win what in that constituency and the dynamics that comes with it. But how different is the general elections from internal elections?
Fifi, thank you. I'll be 66 later this year. And I started my journalism when I was 17 years, before 4 in Accra Academy.
Oh, you didn't go to a good school, to Accra Academy?
Yes, the best.
The school at Kaneshi?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Wherever it is. So I'm in my 49th year as a journalist.
Wow.
I started polling 22 years ago, and more of the ones I've gotten it wrong are in the inner party elections. Like what is going to happen within the NDC.
Yeah.
For the general election, I've done 7 in 22 years and I missed 1. Which means that my success rate is 83% in 22 years. Now, for the general election, if you are doing the elections, if you look at the polling station results, you see that these places are for Party A, these places are for Party B. You will see a place where the votes are 45-46%. Those are the swing polling stations.
Okay.
So you go there and do the work. For inner party elections, you have to get the delegates.
Yeah.
That is the difficulty. And I'm trying to break that. So that's why I get those mistakes. But if you don't do mistakes, you never perfect.
You never learn. Yeah.
Let me give you an example. If, like the MPP, John Wedo, we did some work, he was 40% popular. That means 60% do not like him. If he had a good research team, he would have encouraged people to contest him. And they will split the 60% who don't like him. So most of the mistakes I've gotten are in the inner party election. But I'm still learning how to go about it. So when you say that you are not good, I don't have a problem, because it is only by making mistakes that you can correct it. But when you insult me, I will insult you back. I'm not perfect. You understand?
Yeah.
And for the general election, the only one I got mistake was in 2016. And the American polls also got it wrong in 2016. And I'll tell you briefly why. There's something called apathy. That means I support you, Fifi Banson, but you've annoyed me, so I won't vote for him. I will sit down.
And I won't vote at all.
At all.
Okay.
It's called apathy.
Okay.
The US elections also got it wrong in 2016 because of apathy. Hillary Clinton, if you remember, 8 years earlier, contested Barack Obama
Yeah.
for the Democratic slot.
Yeah.
He insulted the black people.
Mm.
So when Hillary Clinton met Trump, the blacks said, we won't go and vote. If 5% of blacks had voted for Hillary, he would have won.
Because she won the popular votes.
Won the popular vote.
Mm.
So 2016, I got it wrong because apparently people know that the Volta region is the NDC's
Strong.
political
Yeah.
world bank,
Yeah.
like Ashanti region being for MPP.
Mm.
And the Voltarians were displeased with certain things Mahama had done. So they don't go and vote for MPP.
But they'll stay away.
Yes.
So those are some of the dynamics you need to consider
Yes.
when you are doing all those polls.
Yes.
As in, you have to consider apathy, you have to consider strongholds,
Yes.
you have to consider the personality involved in the election.
Yes.
So those are some of the things you consider before the election.
Yes. So when people say that, oh, when Ephson, you are not good, I don't argue with them. Only God will not make a mistake. So when you say, so okay, I've heard. Now, when I do the polls, I don't bind you to take it serious. When the results come, you will see.
Mm.
But I'm humble enough to admit that oh, I made a mistake here and I'm perfecting it.
What are usually your margins of error?
2-3%.
Mm.
And in 22 years, apart from the one I missed, I've been within 2%.
Let's look at it from 92.
Yeah.
From 92.
Yes.
You got it right in 92.
92, I got it right.
That Jerry Rawlings was going to win.
Yes.
By what percentage? And he did.
I've forgotten, but I think it's one of my books.
Okay. Okay. And then 96, you got it right.
Yes.
And
2000, I voted for Professor Moss, but I told him he would lose.
that was in 2000.
Yes.
Okay.
And in 2000, I voted for Professor Moss, and I told him he would lose.
Mm.
And I told him why.
And then 2004.
I voted for him, and I told him he would lose.
But in all those ones, you got it right.
Yes. And the work I did was a most mistake at that time. You know, he's a lecturer. He's not a hardcore politician. He said he will consult Rawlings. You know, people have been tired with Rawlings. So I did work especially in Central region to find out why Central did not vote
Professor Mills.
for Pastor Moss. And it was our consult Rawlings. The same thing 2004. Now, 2008, when he got a runoff, I went to Professor Moss. I said, Prof, this is the first time I'm saying it on any platform, media platform. I said, Prof, have you ever disagreed with Rawlings before? He said, Ben, I saw oath of secrecy. I can't tell you. I said, no, not cabinet secrets, but he said, oh, Professor Moss, President Rawlings said, I should take somebody. I'll mention the name because the person is alive.
Yeah.
He said I should take somebody. And I said, no, I didn't like that person. I'll take Don Muhammad instead. The Prof, tell the people that Rawlings is angry with you because you said that you disagreed with him. So I came out to the opinion polls, and that was my closest. That it is so close that whoever will win with a margin of 50,000 votes. And most won with 40,000.
So that was in 2008.
Yeah, that was 2008.
Now, 2012, John Mahama won in 2012.
Yes.
You got it right?
Yes, I got it right.
Okay.
Because it was more of sympathy votes for most dead.
Right. 2016, you got it wrong.
Got it wrong. And that's
Because I remember very well 2016, you were on my show on radio, and then you made a prediction, your polls, and said that John Mahama was going to win by 50, was it 53 or 54%?
It was an apathy factor. So when I got it wrong, I went back. And I realized that it was the apathy. Then the US polls, which I usually rely on, also got it wrong. It was also the same apathy.
So from 2016 that you lost it out, 2020 you got it right.
Yes.
We'll look at what will happen in 2024 in the general. But let's come to the constituencies, which is also, but on Saturday, there's also presidential for the NDC.
Yes.
John Mahama, Dr. Dufour, and Kojo Bonsu. I'm not going to even ask who's going to win, but by way of percentages, who would you say would have the highest?
Oh, if John Mama gets below 90%, I'll be surprised.
Below?
Below 90%, I'll be very surprised.
Why?
The delegates, why Dr. Dufour is fit to be a presidential candidate. But why would the delegates take somebody who's been marketed, who's been a president before, for somebody who is new in the terrain? Mama is known, and if he gets below 90%, Dufour would have done very, very well.
Well, between Dufour and Kojo Bonsu, that 10% will be a split between the two of them.
I think that Dufour, and because the last time with 4 others, Mama got 95%. If Dufour gets 10, if there's 10% left, I think that Dufour will get about 6% or 7%. Kojo Bonsu will get 3%. But if John Mama gets below 90%, I'll be very surprised. Very, very surprised.
Let's come to the constituencies.
Yeah.
You know, some of the constituencies are quite, let me say, hot.
Yeah.
You know, politically, they are quite hot. Let's take, for example, Ningo Pram Pram. Ningo Pram Pram is one of the places where you've been accused by Sam George of getting the last one wrong. Because the last time he was going for that election, you predicted that Sam George was going to lose that election.
Yes.
And he won that election by 6 votes.
Yes.
Right? Now, what is your stake or what work have you done in Ningo Pram Pram for this Saturday?
You see, for Sam George, I think at times it's bitter. I've said constituency elections are more difficult than presidential elections. And if you win by 6 votes, you're angry at me. I understand people.
A win is a win.
Yes, but you see,
Titus Glover won with 3 votes, MP3. Titus Glover, he won with 3 votes,
Yes,
MP3.
you know.
So still he won.
Titus George, Sam George. Obviously, the person who is challenging him has contested it before. Obviously, each minister will be backing that candidate against Sam George. But I think Sam George will win.
Sam George will win.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what percentage?
He has done enough work. The constituency.
Some say he's one of the most very vocal people in parliament on behalf of the NDC. And therefore, it would be suicidal, for want of a better word, for the delegates not to allow him to get back to parliament.
He's vocal for NDC. But if you are vocal for NDC, you always, no, and you don't take care of your country, they vote you out.
But you think he's done enough in the party, in the constituency?
Oh, yes. I think that, I did some work there. There was a friend, a lecturer friend who was doing some work. He's taking a hard stand against these gay people.
Yeah.
So the guy wanted to go and find out from his constituency whether it was that popular and the gay issue. And they think that he's done well. They think, I'll be surprised if some George loses.
No, because he bashed you the last time. This time you are telling me he will win.
Oh, Martha, I don't vote there. But your people may not know that I spent my 30th birthday in solitary confinement under Rawlings. Eat and sleep. I didn't see anybody. And I didn't stop the job.
So whether you were wrong or right, you are still. Now let's look at.
If it is an easy thing, you don't need to get licensed to be a poster.
Anybody can be a poster.
Yeah, so you can come and do it and see.
There was one time that you lost out on the polls, and then when they actually said you are not God,
Of course. You see,
and people thought that was quite to say the least arrogant, to say that you are not God. But you've decided that you want to prioritize the media. You want to be an expert in polling.
Yeah, but when they
so we expect that you, as an expert, must get it right.
That's what I'm saying. Only God will make a mistake. You see, and if you can see,
Otherwise, anybody can conduct a poll. If he gets it wrong, he says,
yes,
I'm
but
not
in
God.
22 years, 83%, I'm proud. I think it's not easy.
Let's come to one of my favorite constituencies, Adenta.
I don't think.
Adenta is one of my favorite constituencies. That's where I am. That's my constituency.
Adenta
So
is a very dangerous constituency.
they've never actually repeated an MP.
Never.
Okay.
Adenta and Lotokuku.
Yeah.
Adenta has never repeated an MP. Now, the current MP, Adam Ramadan,
Yeah.
is the brother-in-law of the vice president.
Yeah.
He was a staffer in Mohammed's office. Now, he's going against two other giants in terms of a former minister of state and somebody who contested Adamu, that is Nanoye, and Linda, a Fulani Northerner born in Adenta. He's also being backed by heavyweights. Now, there are two things likely to happen. If Nanoye is strong, Ademu will scream through. If Nanoye is weakened, it will be difficult for Ademu.
How so?
You see, if you are an incumbent MP and you are contesting, and you are 40% popular, that means 60% do not like you. What a sensible incumbent MP will do, you will fund people to contest him. Those people will share the anti-incumbent vote. So a smart MP will make sure that if there's one person contesting him, he will fund another strong opponent to contest him. Knowing that his 40% is solid, the two will share the 60% who don't like him.
What if the opponent he is funding by mistake passes through and goes to win the election?
Oh, you see, if he's losing, prefer to lose to not the main candidate.
A loss is a loss. Why would he want to lose to anybody
but
at
the thing
all?
is that, Fifi, if you know you are 40% popular, 60% don't like you.
You think Adamu's works in the constituency
Oh, his works have been good.
will not help him to win?
Oh, Linda, you see,
As in experience over experiment.
but not as you see, Linda is homebred. In Ghana, 3-4% vote on ethnicity. Look, Rominye.
Adamu is also Fulani.
That's what I'm saying, that they will split the Fulani votes.
Yes, Adamu is also Fulani.
Yes, they will split the Fulani votes. Man, the Hausas, they are Gans, and they are non-northern indigenes. So for the NDC, if the two of them, and look, for the delegates, it's their cocoa season. And like in some regions, there's a theory, I'll mention names for legal reasons, but what the people do is that they'll give you the money and they give you schnapp. If you take the money, then you mention the deity's name, that if you don't vote for like Fifi Banson,
this should happen to you.
This should happen to you. Go blind or be down. So for them, it's their cocoa season. So money will play a part. So for Adenta, it's going to be tough. And it will depend on how Onoye will be able to take more of votes for Linda. But Ademu has done very, very, very well. He's gotten a grader, he's doing work there. So it's between Ademu and Linda. But if Nanoye does well, Ademu is likely to retain.
Are there sometimes there's a bit of conspiracy that says that if the establishment is for a certain candidate, as against the other opponents coming in, it also helps. In other ways as well, it could be the reversal, that people would rather want to go against the establishment, as we've seen sometimes even in the MPP elections, where the establishment supported somebody or some people, and then people voted against the establishment.
See, with Adenta, Ademu has surprisingly been very energetic and very humble, in the sense that he's done work, Yes, the brother-in-law is the vice president. The sister is the second lady. He has worked in Mahama's office, and he has learned the business of doing what the people want.
Yeah.
So if I have my last 5 CDs, I'll put it on it.
You put it on the room.
Yeah.
Let's move to another constituency that seemed to be quite hot. Also, let's look at Ofosu-Kwakye's constituency.
Ebura Sebu.
Abura Sebu Kwaman, yes. There are two major people there. That's Professor Amakluche and then Ofosu-Kwakye, Felix.
If you see from my headline today, I've done it. Can Muhammad Ofosu-Kwakye beat Yamin's Amakluche? Joseph Yamin, the national organizer now, and he is supporting Amakluche. And obviously, Felix is Muhammad boy. And I think Felix will win.
Felix will win.
You see, once the NDC support base, the delegates, they are yearning for power. So if they see you a Muhammad person, they'll vote for you. And they are swing delegates who are not committed to any of them.
Yeah.
And based on Yamin coming out openly, obviously people will see that Felix has known to be is a staffer in Muhammad's office. And the Muhammad thing is likely to swing it for Felix.
Kole Klote. That's where Zaneto is, right? Zaneto. And then David Lamte's daughter.
Yes, I think Zaneto. You see, apart from the violence factor, Zaneto has worked very hard. I think he's gotten a bit of the father's grassroots attitude. You know, he goes to mosque, he attends to people. I mean, he's just a chip of the father's block. He will win.
But she's not loud.
Pardon?
She's not loud like that.
You don't need to be loud. You see, if I in public contesting constituency, contesting Vietnam, it's your delegates and the people. She will win.
Which are some of the areas that could probably spring surprises in this election?
I think that there are no favorites. For example, if
Atuforsen is a done deal. Atuforsen is a done deal.
yes,
Let's go to Asawasi.
yes,
Asawasi is another very hot place.
I think they're going to come. You see, Muntaka is about his fifth term. And he's done well for the place. You'll be given a close race, but if Muntaka loses, I'll be very, very surprised.
Some say if Muntaka loses that seat,
Yeah.
the NDC will lose that seat to the general elections.
Yes,
Likely?
yes, very likely.
Why?
Muntaka's people don't vote for the MP, but they will stay away.
There'll be apathy in that
Yes,
constituency.
you see, if Muntaka loses, they will tie it to the changes in parliament. I think the NDC messed up big time in changing the minority in parliament. You see, I understood the NDC's fears. Aruna is very popular. So their fear was that perhaps if they inform Aruna, there will be disturbances in the north. But what they would have done, you call Aruna dance for a meeting. While you are talking to them, you read the press statement. So you could see that, there's a bit of disjointment in the minority in parliament now. They didn't handle it well at all. And I think that some of the comments of Asebu Ketia in leading to him winning the chairmanship will be a lesson to the NDC and to a further extent the MPP too. He said that when he mounted the election petition, they did not have the results. Before the NDC went to court for the 2016 elections, for the 2020, I called a very leading member and I told him that the NDC did not have the results.
And how did you know that?
Because I had the results. I had
the pink sheets, you mean?
No, I had the constituency, the 275 constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
I had the results sheet,
mm-hmm.
and I had totaled it. And I knew.
Now, what shows the NDC didn't have it?
Pardon?
What shows the NDC didn't have it?
Because the heart.
I mean, if you had it as a poster, what shows that the party didn't have it as an organization?
See, I'll tell you why. The heart of the 2012 election petition, which pronounced John Mahama as president, said that if I'm contesting with you, Fifi Banson, and I say Fifi did not win, I have to bring the proof that Fifi hasn't gotten 50% plus one. So I called the person and said, the court case your party is going, you will lose. Because if I had it, the party too, if you have it, you just total the 275 sheets. And I told him that John Mahama has lost by about 500,000 votes. And when the results were announced, John Mahama had lost by 540,000. And I said in Katia, you see, this is the one thing, it's like the goat. You are scratching yourself on Fifi Banson. Today I will spoil Fifi Banson's pate. Before he realized he has to remove his own skin, the hair is gone. I said in Katia, I'm trying to win the chairmanship. Said that when he went to swear the oath at the Supreme Court to defend the NDC did not have the results. Should have said it. As a journalist, next year will be my 50th year. There are some things I'll take to the grave. It's not me alone. There are many people, you are the same. There are some things, if you love your country, master, you take it to the grave. You don't open your mouth. I mean, during the revolutionary days, when we were working, if you are an informant, I would never ask your name. You know why? If you are arrested and you are tortured, every human being has got his torture level. Some will take 30 slaps before they will talk. Some will take 50.
So no matter what it is, you mention.
You mention the name. But if you don't know, you mention it.
Okay, but in your career, 2016, for example, you went through a lot of things. I mean, I was driving in front of your home after midnight, and I saw people laying ambush at your gate, right? Because you had done the polls, you got it wrong, and the
Fifi, let me explain exclusively to Ghanaians. Many people do not know that I got wind of the attack 4 months before it happened. 4 months before I was attacked.
That you are going to be attacked?
Yes.
And why were they going to attack you?
They said I have duty. And that in case NDC loses, I will tell John Mahama not to concede.
By what power do you have to tell John Mahama not to concede? So these were MPP people who were pursuing you and saying those things to you.
No, you see, where I stay.
You were attacked by MPP?
Yes, where I stay. I've stayed there for more than 50 years.
Yeah.
So I have contacts.
That's your ancestral home, I know.
Now, 4 months before the attack, I heard that they were going to attack. It's okay. So I reported to the authorities. So when they came, the night, the results had started coming out.
Mm.
They said I had ballot boxes in my house. So I had worked for about 30 hours without sleep. So when I came, then I saw a car parked around. So I told the security guys who were guarding me that I will call them. I was then doing some program with GH1T.
Yeah.
So when I came home, then I saw a car banging my door, and they said I had ballot boxes in my house. When the results started being released, they were there for about 24. So if you were coming, they will search your pocket for a ballot box.
How can a ballot box go to my pocket?
Then you can see their state of mind.
Mm. And who brought them there?
I don't know.
Have you tried to find out who brought them there?
I've tried to, but if I talk about those who brought them then organized, they will see my informant.
But you know who brought them there.
I have an idea.
There were MPP people who brought them there.
Some MPPs, a few MPs.
But the NDC guys, for some reason, thought that if anything at all, you were rather on their side. Why would they rather bring people to?
No, it was like a job they were given to do.
Because the predictions you made was in their favor.
Yes,
So why would they bring in anybody to attack you?
They were high. If you're not high, you will set somebody's pocket for a ballot box.
Mm.
A ballot box in somebody's pocket. They were high, and they had fueled 10 motorbikes. There was a police armored car in front of my house. And they were so high that they would look in your pocket for a ballot box. So I told the police.
Maybe they didn't understand what the ballot box was.
I'm still, it told you their state of mind.
Mm.
So I told the police that if anybody who was coming, we should allow them to set the pockets for the ballot box. And I was coming.
Uncle Ben, let me ask you this. I don't know whether you've been asked this question before on any platform. Do people pay you to do polls for them?
Oh. You see,
Have you been asked this question before?
Yes, and I tell them that, Master, if you Fifi Bansi will pay me to do polls, then the fact he must be a fool.
Even for research purposes.
Somebody
If I approach you because you're a pollster,
no.
you have all the structures in
Yes,
place.
if you say,
And I come to you, Uncle Ben, I need polls, I need the data to be able to see my chances in the elections.
yes, then I'll do it and give it to you.
Without collecting money?
No, I'll tell you for the phone way.
Yes.
But a political party
Mm-hmm.
who will pay me to say they will win
Mm-hmm.
must be a fool. I'm not God. And I can make a mistake. That is why I released my polls 3 days, maximum 4 days to vote. So that people don't think that I want to contaminate people's minds.
Mm.
And if I have that power, and if I say you will win, then Fifi, I'm in the wrong profession. I'll take low to 5 numbers every week and win. Do you understand?
So, some have accused you to say what you do is not polling, it's betting.
Then I will take Lotto, Fifi.
Mm.
I mean, every week, if once in 2 weeks, I can get 5 numbers and pair.
Oh, you know they're paying too. It means that you've been staking Lotto.
I will take Lotto till I stop. And I'll tell you today, for the exclusive, I'll tell your viewers. When I used to stake Lotto, I'm not a gambler. I like looking at numbers, looking at plans. So I'll give it to friends who will stake. Then in the 90s, I had 4 numbers. I stayed 2 weeks, it didn't come. If 2 weeks doesn't come, I change it. I gave it some 4 businessmen. So I stayed after 4 numbers, I paid, didn't come. After 2 weeks, I changed it. Not knowing that they were taking the 4 numbers.
And they won.
They won. Fifi, the money they gave me, as thank you to date. I've seen the money before. I'm telling you.
Wow.
The money they dash me. And out of that anger, I stopped Lotto. I was so angry. The money they dashed me, some of them bought houses. They took my things in.
Out of the Lotto money.
Yes.
So why are you not staking and you're rather doing polling?
Because look, staking Lotto is chance.
And polling is?
Polling is scientific. You see, you have to. You see, one of the things I always tell people is that doing national polls is easier than inner party polls. If I'm doing national polls, you take the results. You see that this place is for party A, this place is for party B. You look at the last 3 elections, you see that people in this constituency, in these polling stations, they vote 44, 45, 44, 45. That means they are shrink. So you concentrate on the middle, where they vote 40 something, 40 something. You'll be a foolish poster. You go to a place where they vote 80% for somebody, 20% against somebody. So this is, I got it wrong because I hadn't taken into account apathy.
Yeah.
They won't come and vote for you, they will just stay back.
Uncle Ben, we'll probably have to end it here. But then,
and for viewers of Fufi Bouncing TV, subscribe.
We're going to be doing this again, actually. We're going to be doing this. Especially, yes, we'll do more of these polls, and because the MPP will also be going to the polls very soon. And they'll be looking at the general one after they've done that. You know, we'll look at the
when you don't do the MPP one, I'll tell you why Bamia will win, Japan will be second, and Alan Chamati will be third.
You'll tell me why.
I'll tell you why.
So you've done work on them already?
Oh, yes. I've been doing that work for 2 years. Fifi,
okay.
I'm finishing my 7th book on Ghanaian elections.
We'll come to that. We'll certainly come to that.
Usually what happened in the last election.
And then what is yet to come. Agben, thank you so much for your time today. And definitely, we're going to be doing this again. Now, what we will do is, after this weekend, when we have seen the polls, the results of the elections, we will get back to him to find out if what he said today has come to pass and what were the margins involved in that. Thank you so much, Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is editor-in-chief, the big man, Dogboro, of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. So when it comes to polls, look out for the Daily Dispatch newspaper, because that's where a lot of those numbers are going to be on. Definitely. Thank you so much for watching us on 50 Banson TV. Definitely we'll be back again. Keep watching, keep subscribing to this channel, and then get the subscription bell definitely on so that you get notification anytime we put a new video out there. Thank you so much.